Hey there folks, Aldershot here, and today we're going to do an early impression on Distance, developed by Refract and on sale on Steam's Early Access for the regular price of $20. Now this game being on Early Access, I do want to remind the folks out there that by the time you watch this video, it could have very well been changed or updated, so at the very least check the Steam's official page on Distance. Just to make sure that you're nice and updated, alright? So what is Distance anyways? Well, it's essentially an arcade racer that heavily focuses on obstacles and reflexes. So you're not really racing against other cars, it's more of a time attack and score attack sort of deal. Alright, we'll talk more about it once we actually get into the game, of course, but let's take a look at what you're getting for your $20 currently in this early access package. Let's look at the options. In audio, you have your standard audio sliders, and in controls, you actually have a pretty robust controls menu here. You can customize all your keys, essentially. You got a bunch of sensitivity sliders and a bunch of other options as you're looking at right here. And the game does support Xbox, or not Xbox alone, but gamepads in general, and it supports keyboard and mouse, of course. But to be completely honest, this is definitely a gamepad game. You're going to be trying to play this with keyboard and mouse. It's going to be a test of your will. Let me just say that much, okay? I highly recommend a gamepad for this game, and you'll understand why once we get into the game. But yeah, fully robust and fully featured. I like it. This is a good sign. Then we're going to take a look at the graphics. Again, fully featured, nice and robust. This is good. This is very good, especially considering that this is an early access game. Much too often we see early access games with very lacking options, if there's even an option at all. Hell, some early access games don't even have anti-aliasing. So, you know, good on Distance for giving us, you know, a nice and fully featured options menu right off the bat. But besides that, the game also comes with a level editor. We're not going to get into it. It's very complicated, and I haven't done anything with it. It's actually not that complicated from my understanding, at least from what people are saying. I just haven't done anything with it. But, you know, just so you guys know, it is there for you, and you can upload it to Steam Workshop. It supports it. And I already got a couple of custom levels downloaded. I tried them. They're kind of interesting. So that's cool. I like that. And as you can see on the screen where my mouse is kind of moving, right here, it's already stating that over 150 community levels are now available on Steam Workshop. That's kind of crazy considering that I am right now recording this video no more than 3 hours after its release. So that is nuts. That's just that many levels already available in 3 hours. Jesus, that's crazy. Anyways, moving on, there's also Adventure, which is the main campaign of Distance. This is where you're going to be unlocking all your maps and levels. And then we also have Arcade, which is, in my opinion, the main beef of the game. This is where you're going to be kind of climbing that leaderboard. And it's based on all the levels that you unlocked in Adventure. In fact, they're pretty much the exact same levels. But you can play them in different ways. There's online, split screen, and solo. Okay, which is cool. That supports both online and local. That's really awesome. Again, early access, and it has all these things, you know. So, you know, Distance is kind of raising the bar for early access and what we can expect from them. So pay attention, other devs. Let's take a look at what we have in solos as well. We also have sprints, speed and style, challenge, and stunts. Okay, so you can play in 4 different ways. Now, to be fair, you are just going to be playing through the same maps that you've unlocked in Adventure. But, you know, these modes are going to focus on different things of those same maps, okay? Sprint is all speed. It's all about going really fast and breaking records. Speed and style is about speed and gaining trick points. You can kind of do tricks in this game as well. Challenge is essentially hardcore mode, where there's no checkpoints and there's no restarts. So that's kind of nuts. And then there's stunt, which is solely focused on doing tricks and gaining points. So pretty interesting, We're going to take a look into Sprint. We're going to finally get into some gameplay. and we are going to, let's see, these two are custom levels that I've downloaded. We are going to get into Dissolution. That's what we're going to start with. Alright. So as you can see, this is Distance, and this is my baby. This is my car right here. And as you can see, it's very sci-fi themed. Okay, it's actually a very, very pretty game. It looks gorgeous. It's really good looking, to be completely honest. The texture quality and the model quality is quite high. The theming is very well done. The overall design is very well done. The audio is quite nice as well. The hum of the car engine is both soothing and futuristic at the same time. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. My bad. And it has a fantastic soundtrack as well. Hopefully I have the audio turned up loud enough so you guys can hear it. I don't know why I keep jumping so early. That's just foolish of me. But anyways, yeah, visually this game is gorgeous. It's doing it right. It sounds great as well. So if you're looking for a really good looking racer, well, Distance might be a viable option for you. Okay, so anyways, enough about how good it looks, because it really is kind of pretty. Let's kind of talk about what's actually going on the screen. Okay, as you can see, there's no HUD. There's no HUD elements. Alright, everything is actually in the car. Everything that you need to know about what's going on is on the car itself. There's a bar on the tail end of it, on the ass end of the car, that's kind of filling slowly. That's my boost. Okay, and if that overheats, oops, okay, this might work out. There we go. If that overheats, my car will blow up, and that's not good for anyone. Well, it's not good for me anyways. So you gotta keep an eye on that. But it's all about, you know, being efficient with your boosts. So you kind of want to hold it down for as long as you possibly can without blowing up. Now, there's a trick to it. You can actually hold it down for quite a while, and every time you pass through one of those checkpoints, like one of these things coming up here, it automatically restarts to 0, so you can just keep holding it down. Alright, now something else that's kind of interesting about this game is you can ride on the ceiling, you can ride on the walls, whatever you want, and I'm sure you've already noticed I've been kind of jumping around from wall to wall, so it does kind of play on gravity a little bit as well, which is a little bit tricky. A little bit tricky. Sometimes the gravity doesn't work perfectly though. Luckily I haven't ran into any of those cases so far, but during my play of this game, I've ran into a few times where the car just kind of floated off to a distance, like the game really didn't know what to do with itself because the gravity system of this game is kind of weird, but very enjoyable, very, very different. Alright, we did pretty good there. We got gold. Let's continue and move to the next level. So I appreciate the fact that this game is doing something a little bit different, that it is playing on gravity. Is definitely an interesting feature, but I think it could use a little bit of tweaking. Maybe we'll run into an instance where I can give an example of that. But it's there, and overall it does work pretty well. It works pretty well for the most part. About like 80 to 90% of the time, let's just say. Alright. Anyways, moving on. What else can you do? You can also fly as well. I think I just made a farting sound by mistake. Oh, let's... Oh, this is a case where the gravity kind of doesn't know what to do with itself. So you just end up floating off into the distance. But, as I mentioned, you can fly. And sometimes you can use that to save yourself. Oh, not this time though. Because the thing is, when you have your wing out, it also eats up your boost meter. And again, if your boost meter overheats, you kind of blow up. Right, let's see if we can make this time. Ugh! Okay, there we go. When you're doing, you also have to manually flip your car as well sometimes. Okay, and you do that with the right analog stick, which goes back to what I was saying about the keyboard and mouse. It's just near impossible to do that with the keyboard and mouse. Okay, so that's one of the main reasons why you're really going to want to use a gamepad for this game. Alright, but anyways, moving on, let's see if we can get on the secret track, which, by the way, a lot of levels feature multiple routes, or multiple routes. And that's also kind of a cool feature. And if you can't tell already, this is obviously not a simulation racer. This is a very, very much an arcade racer. And because of that, the handling is very easy to use, very easy to get adjusted to. The only trick is learning the levels and not getting yourself blown up by giant saws and lasers. Let me show you what happens when you get cut by a laser. That's pretty interesting, eh? Look, I'm still moving. My car didn't blow up. I can keep going. I'm gonna keep going. And if you can make it to a checkpoint, you will restart your car back to, you know, its full state, which is cool. Which is really, really cool. You know, that's definitely a very interesting feature that's kind of hilarious at the same time. There we go. I'm gonna fly a little bit and put myself back down. And there we go. Oh, okay. Our car is sort of cut in half, but we finished this map, so let's continue on. So, distance. Yeah, pretty damn interesting. I am definitely having a good time with this game. You guys can't tell. Albeit, first like hour of playing this game, or maybe the first half hour of playing this game, some obstacles and the flying thing kind of caught me off guard, and there's definitely a bit of a learning process. You know, you're gonna have to go through some of this game through trial and error, and you know, at the best of times, this game is really, really fast. You have a great sense of speed, and you know, it's very, very exciting, and it's very reflex based, which I really enjoy. You know, it's arcadey racer and all that, right? But at its worst, this game can get frustrating at times. All right, so do be aware of that. Have some patience. If you have that patience, if you can persevere through the more frustrating moments of this game, you will get a pretty good sense of satisfaction out of it. You know, like you just nailed that. You know, you nailed it. It was so difficult. This is another case where the gravity didn't do what I wanted to do. It didn't flip when I wanted to flip. Can we save it with a? Yes, we can save it with a flight thing. So good. So yeah. So again, you know, sometimes you're going to be frustrated, admittedly, but if you can get past that, I think you can get a lot of satisfaction and a lot of enjoyment on distance. And if nothing else, okay, this is a very high quality game that's in early access. And honestly, if this was a complete game that wasn't on early access, I wouldn't know the difference. What I'm trying to say is, this game feels incredibly complete. That's another instance of the gravity kind of not knowing what it wanted to do with the car, okay? So as you can see, sometimes it does come up. But anyways, as I was saying, this game, for early access especially, feels very complete and very, very much worth the asking price. It's like I said, the options is fully featured. It comes with multiple play modes. It has online and local multiplayer already. It's quite challenging, it's quite visceral, and what's already here is extremely enjoyable. I honestly can't imagine what they're going to do with this. If this is still in early access, what kind of updates do we have in store for us? Because, guys, Distance is a very enjoyable game. That's what I gotta say to you guys, okay? If you're interested in this game, if this looks kind of interesting to you, go ahead and feel safe to spend your money, because honestly, this feels like a full game to me. This doesn't even feel like a demo or an early access or an alpha or a beta. It feels like a complete game that could be sold full price today, in all honesty. Which is good, which is great. That's definitely raising the bar of what we can expect and accept from early access program games. And that's good, that's a good thing. It's never a bad thing when something raised the bar of anything, right? So there you go, guys, that's Distance. Damn, this game is good. I really like it, I have to say. A few frustrating moments, okay, and I just blew up. A few frustrating moments, especially when I first started off, but, you know, I kind of persevered the best I can and did the best to kind of get over those humps. And when I finally finished those levels, or those tricky obstacles that had me stuck, that's when I started to really enjoy this game. The only complaint is, again, the gravity. I think it needs some fine-tuning. I'm perfectly okay with crashing into the same obstacle over and over again. That's completely my own fault. But when I'm wrestling with the game's mechanics and how the game is programmed, at least how the gravity is programmed, that's when, you know, the frustration gets to the point where it's no longer, you know, on my own accord. Where it doesn't feel like it's my fault anymore. It feels like I'm just wrestling with the game. So other than that, other than the gravity factor, this game is quite enjoyable. Showing a lot of promise, obviously, and it's very, very fully featured for an early access. Alright, so there you go, guys. That's Distance. It's fun. If this looks good to you, go ahead and buy it, honestly. I am gushing a little bit, admittedly, but I really enjoy the game. So what do you want me to say, you know? What do you want me to say? I like it. So there you go, folks. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Hope you guys found this informative. If you did, you know, show me some love. Let me know if you play this game. Let me know what you think of it. And if you haven't played this game, let me know what you think of it based on the footage. Alright? And if you haven't already, I would really appreciate it if you would subscribe and help myself and this channel grow. That would be great. Thanks for watching, guys. Aldershot out.